because it was such a struggle, and I think because the girls were so steadfast in their views, and I still choke up thinking about what they did, because I think they were so remarkable. It was such a happy and joyful day for all of us, because we felt as though we had maybe the only real sisterhood in the entire country.
Absolutely.
We knew it was the only one on campus, and I know that they felt so proud of what they did, and that they felt that they had won an incredible victory, that right won out because they stuck to their guns. They were not intimidated. They did not back down. They knew what was right. They had clarity of purpose.
I just want to say, I don't know if you've ever received an apology. And I know that I was not there during the time, but I have the opportunity now as your fraternity president to formally apologize for that time. I can't imagine what you went through, and I'm so very sorry that the fraternity that we both love would ever cause you harm or your chapter harm. Delta Upsilon has they're very strong women, and so I apologize to all of your pledge sisters and your chapter sisters too.
Well, thank you for that, because I feel like we were all in it together, and I feel as though they went through an awful lot as well. So thank you very much, Kimberly.
It is just anti-isms, right? I mean, there's so many isms. It's racism, it's sexism, it's ageism, and whatever hatred or whatever bigotry that ties that, it's a necessity for us to address it and to ensure that the practices and the procedures and the policies that dictate the way that our organization works, that those are creating spaces that are fair and equitable to all of our sisters. And I think LEAD Now is perfectly positioned to do that.
So what does allyship mean to you?
Just that, coming alongside and seeing a problem, hearing about the problem and taking action, not speaking for me as a Black woman, but using your voice, using your power. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. White women, you have so much power. You don't need our permission. Use it.
I think something that you'll hear, I would say throughout any sort of marginalized or minoritized community is the saying that representation matters, right? It matters that you have people there who are able to represent your particular social identity or identities. Part of it, I think, is that by having representation, you show other people that is a possibility for them, and that also that you are welcoming these identities into a leadership space. So it's hard to be what you can't see. So to consistently see board photos of all, lovely white women,
right? It
does not help our BIPOC women say, maybe I can be president of Tri Delta one day, right? Because they're like, that has never happened. So for a lot of them, it would just feel like that is insurmountable. There's no way that's going to happen. So you sort of disinvite them from that process, losing talent, right? Which you don't want to do. And then I think also it shows people what you value and what you care about.
I was explaining how excited I was about this opportunity to volunteer with Tri Delta, and I got the weirdest response back of, it sounds like you're participating in some strange affirmative action program and you're not prepared and you're not qualified for this extreme leadership position. And I thought to myself, what are you, excuse me? Like, besides being extremely insulting about my ability, I stopped and I said, no, I am just providing my voice at the table. When we're sitting here having decisions, I am lending a different perspective, and I'm just as qualified. And our screening process is about competencies and skills.
Yeah.
And I have all of them. Thank you very
Yes.
much. So
You know, we can't tiptoe around those uncomfortable conversations anymore. We just have to own the fact that not everyone's going to be ready, but it's time, simply put, like because it's the time to do the work. We can't pretend that we don't have certain practices in place that prohibit, you know, access to membership. You know, we can't pretend that we don't have women that once they're initiated are impacted by their sense of belonging when they're asked to like straighten their hair or, you know, buy a certain outfit to do that, or feel pressure to go on spring break because everybody else is going on spring break. And those are the conversations that we need to tackle. And through, I think, the Lead Now plan, that's where we're kind of setting some of that standards across the board for all of our chapters to kind of, we can no longer meet them where they're at. We all need to just own the fact that we can do things differently. And we need to talk about the big issues and not just wait for, you know, a policy to come down or things like that, to be more proactive.
I think having conversations in person, face to face, are harder, but I also think they have a bigger impact because you're able to look someone in the eye, you're able to express yourself with emotion, with context that you miss out on social media a lot of the time. Also, when we have those conversations on social media, it's usually not a two-way conversation and people aren't as receptive to taking in the information that they're seeing. They go directly into defensive mode. But I do think the beauty of social media is holding people accountable. Once it's on social media, it's there for forever.
That creates allyship. You know, when you can say, I don't know, I didn't live that life and I don't understand it all, but my goodness, as a fellow human being, as a fellow sister, I'm going to support you because you matter. And that's what allyship says. It says that you matter, you belong, you matter, and I care for you. And that can take a person through life so beautifully, to have that support. And unfortunately, many people don't have that support. And it's a wonderful opportunity for those with privilege to share that gift, And that's why being an ally is important.
Campus, I think if you turn on the TV, you're going to see that Gen Z is out there and they are making noise. They're done. They're, you know, they've grown up in a fractured nation and they know that that is their future if they don't start trying to fix it now. So I think just the work that they've been putting in, even right now, 2020, as a crazy year as it has been, I've seen so much compassion and action from Gen Z. Compassion meaning that when the pandemic first started, I heard so much about, you know, our younger Gen Zs going out there, making sure that their elderly communities were being taken care of. And then action, you know, being out there, rallying, pushing forward and making sure that their voices are heard.
But it really is embedded in the nation and how our great United States came to be about, or so we say. And I think for me, from my point of view, what I think is the most prominent way that Tri Delta can be better is making sure that we're educating our members so that these efforts are genuine. Because you can have your chapter members check off on a list that all their new members went through a diversity training, but how many people were actually receptive to that? And I think that's what takes it from being just like a movement to actually turning into a movement and inspiring the change that we're trying to see. And
it's because we love Tri Delta so much that we're having these conversations. When I heard Dr. Peterson's conversation, it was a mixed emotion of anger and hope at the same time. I was angry that she was treated like that, but I knew my experience wasn't like that. But then I thought about it and I said, you know what, but the time between her experience and mine was such a long time, yet we still have such a long way to go. So to any member listening to this, I want them to know that whether you're Black, white, Asian, whatever you are, Tri Delta will welcome you for the woman that you are. You just have to ensure that you make it better for the woman that comes after you, as the women that have come before us did for us.
Just this conversation today, when we're able to face our past and the mistakes that we've made and own up to them in this way, I think then we're better able to move forward, to recognize what we've done to evaluate where we are and how to move forward from here. So you need self-examination in order to change, and I think that's important.